one of them to look at. I made a list some years back of lots of things I've heard people discuss over the years, yes and no, positive and negative, things that are, and you have to put a check mark supposedly in this list, whether something is mandatory that you have to do, whether it is unlawful and you can't do it, whether it's just an expediency or one choice among many that you have, or whether it's something that, along with being a choice, people have made not only a choice, they've made that choice a tradition so that it can't be altered in their view. And that's something that we should avoid. Sharon, would you mind shutting those doors? I know you got your hands full, but I would appreciate that. In case the kids start screaming or something. Screaming with joy. There won't be any screaming with joy in this class, so don't get your hopes up. Anyway, so we looked a little bit last week at this business on number 45 here of a first day of the week collection, and it goes with 2 or 3 of these things. First day of the week collection, a collection on any other day, a church treasury, and having a church treasurer. So I'm giving you the rationale partly for why we do what we do, given the information we have in the scriptures. You don't have explicit, detailed instructions on these things, but you have information that's left for you, and part of what the reason it's left like it is so God's going to see how you're going to respond to it. You're going to see what you're going to do with the information He gives you, whether you're going to do what you want or whether you're going to try to be serious and pay attention to it. And that's something that you have to consider how it's going to be. So in any event, we looked at this business of, and look, money and handling the money is a huge deal because people are concerned about it, and it's important. We do not, only on rare occasions, maybe once or twice in my 20 years of being an elder here, have we ever said we need money for something. I don't even remember when we did that. We don't talk to you about giving more and first day of the week contribution. We don't do that, and that's even before we had less in our treasury than we do now, which God has greatly blessed us. But that doesn't mean that it's not important. And so this church operates on contributions on the first day of the week given by the members of this church or whoever, any other Christians. That's it. And so then the budgets and plans are made based upon that. Is that the right angle? I mean, Doug said to me before we began, we could make a lot of money if we had a lot of pumpkins in the yard here. You've seen the churches around town, they have all the pumpkins, and you have bales of hay, and you have little people come and they sell, and they have dressed up in costumes, and could we make money? We sure could, I guess. And I think Church of Christ pumpkins would be better than any other kind of pumpkin. Yes, Bob.
When you talk about thinking of a collection, we do it on the first day of the week, we're supposed to. Since we've had these storms, there's a lot of people in St. Lucie, Okeechobee, the whole area. Could we take up some money, like, I'll give some to you and whatever, and give to people and take some out of the church treasury to help saints who have lost homes?
Now this is what's coming up in this list. It's not here yet. I believe the pattern. I'm going to summarize it real quick and I think Gary agrees with this from our analysis of it. As far as taking money that's been given on the first day of the week and put into the treasury, that money is only going to go out of there to help other New Testament Christians. Okay, not just anybody out here who has a need in the community. If you want to give your money, or we want to get together after service and say, well, I know a neighbor that needs some stuff, and anybody give, of course, that's all great. We've done both. When they had a disaster in the Bahamas a couple of years ago, I could not find one New Testament church over there that we had confidence we could send to the elders or the men of that church and say, here's money to rebuild. So what do? Well, we all got together and contributed money and material, because we had another couple here at that time who had contacts, and we gathered up thousands of dollars worth of stuff and sent to the Bahamas, and it was given to whoever needed it, but it didn't come out of the church treasury. Other times, we've given money directly from the treasury to another church or individual who needed assistance with how to live.
It wasn't donated on the first day of the week to go into the treasury.
It
It didn't come in on the first day of the week to go to the treasury.
Yeah, I'm still unsure of what you're saying, Gary. It didn't come in on the first day of the week to go to the treasury?
Yes.
What does that mean?
Well, the money that we collected to go over there was individually done at different times.
Yeah, the money we sent to the Bahamas, people gave it whenever they could to Matt and Alex, and they sent them money and material, and Matt went and gathered it all up, and they sent it over there, but it wasn't given on the first day of the week because it wasn't a church collection. There's a difference. The word church in the Bible, I mean, we've got to go backwards, is sometimes used in a generic sense to meaning the church in the whole world, the universal sense. And then oftentimes it's used to mean a local church, just that, like the church at Corinth. And sometimes it's used to mean Christ died for the church, generally. So you have to distinguish which one is it. So when I say the church treasury, I'm talking about this church did not take up a collection on the first day of the week or any other day of the week to send to people who aren't Christians in the Bahamas. You can give any time, and so we organized an effort at that point to do that.
The Bible specifically.
What's that?
The Bible specifically says needy saints.
Yes, and that's the collection that was being made on the first day of the week here in the verse, or let me get the verse up here.
What everybody should know, though, is, I think it was Katrina, there was a church in Louisiana that we sent to the elders. We sent money directly to the elders.
Yes, and other churches I've been involved in, we've sent money at different times, and we've sent money to the needy saints. And that's this collection that Paul was talking about right here. Starting the collection for the saints, and that was given to Christians in Judea who were suffering from a famine. That's what this money was collected for. And that's when he said, take up this collection on the first day of the week when you're gathered together. They were already gathered together to break bread on the first day of the week. He says, take up this collection. And he means, I'm coming by in a month or two to get this, or sometime in the future to get this money. So you gather it all up, so when I get there, it's already gathered up and I can take it on. And so we know that that's how first century churches collected. That's the only example in the New Testament of how first century churches gathered money. That's the only example that I know of how or when they took up gathered money. Now you can say, well, that doesn't say they can't have a pumpkin sale or they can't do it this way. No, it doesn't. But the question is, what should you do when you're trying to keep the Bible accurately and follow the Word? Well, there's left for you. You're either going to follow that example or not. Your choice.
That scripture where it talks about gathering up fish and stuff to feed people. You know what I'm talking
Well,
about?
when Jesus did the miracle, you mean the miracle of the feeding the 5,000, they gathered up the baskets that were left over.
I don't think that's what I'm thinking about. I think they were meeting by the sea, and they I'll have to search for it.
Nothing's coming to mind, and I'm a walking concordance, Doug. You know that. No, I don't know for sure, but I'm not. Nothing's coming to mind what you're referring to. I know that when Jesus did the miracle and fed the 5,000, they started off with what, 5 baskets or 5 pieces of fish or something,
Yeah.
two fish and 5 loaves,
That may be what I'm
and they had like 5 baskets left over, or I forgot how many. You'll know. 12 baskets left over. After he started off with just 2 fish, and which to me, I got a sermon coming up on leftovers.